we shall create a South Africa in which the doors of learning and of culture shall be open to all. We shall have a South Africa in which the young of our country shall have access to the best that mankind has produced.
This speech focused on the creation of the so-called independent Bantustans in South Africa just months after the Soweto uprisings. It would be a seminal moment in efforts to shift the international landscape against the apartheid regime.
We state now, as we stated then, that an incontrovertible part of the demands of our people is that there shall be one united and democratic South Africa.
It was in 1976 that Oliver Reginald Tambo would address the UN General Assembly for the first time as a leader of the liberation movement, the African National Congress, and not as an official representative of the then South African government that was at the time a fully fledged UN member state. It was also the first time that a leader or representative of the majority of the people in South Africa would address this General Assembly almost 2 decades before the African National Congress would take control of the Union buildings in Pretoria.
South Africa's current ambassador to the UN first met Tambo in 1976 in Luanda, Angola, where he'd arrived for orientation and training in the ANC's Umkhonto we Sizwe.
Most of people who work with OR, you know that here is a leader who listens, who guides, who try to, to develop people. But the only problem with OR that was, we call it this way, it was too much of a brilliant person, you have to know your story. Very unassuming, but a very deep intellect. And he always did his homework.
The country's former deputy president met Tambo once in 1986 when he addressed the World Council of Churches in Geneva.
He was one of our biggest bridge builder with the international community. And he has a very rich history with the United Nations that starts in 1960 when he came to the United Nations, welcomed by the African ambassadors and then the non-allied group, which then led to the formation of the Special Committee Against Apartheid. And from there onwards, the bond between him, the ANC, and the United Nations grew stronger and stronger. And it helped to profile our struggle.
A profile that grew deeper through the establishment of the UN's Special Committee Against Apartheid, whose principal secretary was Enuga Reddy for over 2 decades, seen here in a 2014 interview.
Oliver had great regard for the United Nations. He never indulged in radical rhetoric and idle exaggerations about the progress of the struggle. He used to brief me about the assessment and thinking of the ANC. He always treated me, as he did all the activists against apartheid, as a partner in the struggle rather than a mere friend or supporter.
After decades waging the struggle outside of her borders, he would return to South Africa in 1990, only to suffer a stroke a few years later, succumbing to complications a year before the country's first democratic election in 1994. He was just 75.
I think for us who were lucky enough to see a dawn of a new South Africa, I think she will feel responsible. First, I think we were lucky to have been gifted such giants, such leaders, such strategists, such thinkers to guide us. And then we arrived at the promised land, a new South Africa. And I think we should take care of this promised land. And I think we should do everything possible, even if we disagree within the party, within the broad political party, opposition ruling party, trade union, churches, youth, women. But I think all of us should take one oath and one decision. We'll preserve the motherland, we'll preserve this beautiful country for which so many people have sacrificed for, including Oliver Tambo.
A gift to a grateful nation, and a beacon that continues to shine as an example to those left to complete the task. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.